And we are back. NFL Week 10 predictions. After last week, I ended up going a amazing 13-2 record, putting my season total up to 93-45, with my lock of the week being the Carolina Panthers, who ended up pulling out the W. So, in that aspect, I sit at 8-1 currently. We're going to start by saying the teams who I got wrong last week being the Jets Texans game, picked the Texans, the Jets won, and then the Bears Cardinals, picked the Bears, but the Cardinals won. So entering this game, starting out, we have Thursday Night Football, November 7th, 8:15 p.m. All games are in Eastern Standard Time. We have the 4-5 Bengals versus the 6-3 Ravens. Both these teams coming off of wins. The Bengals coming off of a good win over the Raiders, 41-24, while the Ravens coming off of probably an even better win, 41-10 over the Broncos. Now, this is one of those games that we saw earlier in the season. The Bengals ended up putting up 38 points, but they still lost as the Ravens put up 41. And I think it's going to be a very similar game. I think the Ravens are going to win in this high-scoring game again. And that really sucks for the Bengals because at 4-5, we're past the halfway point now. Dropping down to 4-6 is going to be a really tough climb to get, back into the playoff race. And while the Ravens are still competing for the Steelers for their division, so they also really can't afford to lose unless Pittsburgh also does. Moving on to our Sunday games, November 10th at 9:30 a.m., we're heading to Germany, where we have the 2-7 Giants against the 2-7 Panthers. I'm sorry, Germany. Both teams coming off of pretty solid plays, considering, they're both 2 wins. The Giants fall by 5, 27-22 to the Commanders. Wow, the Panthers, 23-22 win over the Saints. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't think this game will be really good. I think it will be a close game, just not a good game. I'm going to take the Giants because, considering the Giants were able to keep up with the Panthers or the Commanders, I like the Giants' odds. Moving on to our 1 p.m. slate. Starting out, we have the 2-7 Patriots versus the 4-4 Bears. The Patriots coming off of a heartbreaking overtime loss, 20-17 over the Titans. Wow, the Bears coming off of a 29-9 loss to the Cardinals. Now, I have the Bears winning this game. However, this is probably the first game where I don't feel all too confident about, because looking on paper, the Bears should win this game, and it really shouldn't be close. However, the Bears started the season out 4-2, and in these last 2 weeks, they have not looked great. Meanwhile, the Patriots also have not looked great, but they've also been looking better than, how they did through, weeks 3 through 5 or whatever. So I'm going to take the Bears. However, don't be surprised if the Patriots win this game. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. Moving on to the next one, we have the 49ers, who are 4-4, at the Buccaneers, who are 4-5. Now, the 49ers, they did have a bye week, so they're well and rested. However, in the week before that, they ended up losing, I believe, or no, they won 30-24. Sorry, I was thinking the wrong game. Against the Cowboys. Now, the Buccaneers, they ended up losing 30-24 in overtime to the Chiefs. So, the Buccaneers, even though they're down their top 2 receivers, definitely for this game, they're still keeping up with these good teams. They've lost by 1 score now to both the Falcons and the Chiefs, while being without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers in a surprise upset, because they're showing that, yes, it does suck that they don't have those guys, but they're not letting it just, ruin their season. They're still fighting, and you have to respect that. Next, we have the Broncos, who are 5-4, at the Chiefs, who are 8-0. The Broncos coming off of an embarrassing 41-10 loss to the Ravens, while the Chiefs coming off of, as we just mentioned, a 30-24 overtime win over the Buccaneers. Now, the thing about that Chiefs game is the Chiefs got the ball in overtime and never looked back. They won the coin toss. They marched down the field, scored a touchdown. So We don't know what would have happened if the Buccaneers got a drive. I'm still going to go with the Chiefs because I don't think they're going to lose to the Broncos. I think maybe we could start talking next week with the Bills, I believe they play. But as for this week, I really like the Chiefs. The Broncos coming off of that blowout loss, I think they're going to be in the bad headspace, and I think that's going to cause them to make mistakes. This game will be closer than, the game looks. I think it will be probably a one-score game. However, it will be majority, dominated by the Chiefs. Next, we have the Bills, who are 7-2, at the Colts, who are 4-5. The Bills ended up winning their game 30-27, game winner against the Dolphins, while the Colts ended up losing 21-13 to the Vikings. I'm going to take the Bills in this one because the Bills are just so much better than the Colts that even when the Colts play probably at the top of their game and the Bills play lackluster, I still believe that the Bills would have a chance to win that game. I still believe it would be a one-score game. However, I don't think either of that's going to happen. I think the Bills will win. I think it will be a semi-close game. One of those where the Colts are never really out of it. However, they're also never really talked about winning unless, something drastic happens. So I'm going to take the Bills, and, Bills, you're having a great season, especially if you win that game. Next, we have, on paper, a really good game. The Steelers, 6-2. The Commanders, 7-2. The Steelers, the other team coming off of a bye week last week. However, if we go to before that, they ended up winning 26-18 against the Giants, while the Commanders also just beat the Giants 27-22. I'm personally going to take the Commanders because I feel like the Steelers are going to be coming off of the bye. A lot of time that usually helps a team, but when you're 6-2 and you have a lot of momentum in your favor, I feel like the bye is going to trip you up, and I feel like the Commanders are going to take advantage of that. And I think this will be one of those games that just gets to a blowout immediately, but the Steelers kind of claw their way back, and the Commanders just hold on. I think it will be a close game at the end of the day. However, after probably halftime, I think the Commanders will have a double-digit lead. Next, we have the Vikings, who are 6-2, at the Jaguars, who are 2-7. The Vikings coming off of a win over the Colts, 21-13, while the Jaguars, on the other hand, 28-23 loss to the Eagles. Now, this is also one of those where, looking on paper, this should be all Vikings. However, I do feel like the Jaguars will have a fighting chance. They have looked really good, since picking up that win. I don't remember who they beat. In London, the Patriots. They've looked really good since then. However, it's resulted in losses. But, one score to really good teams. I do believe the Vikings will win this game, and I do believe fate will repeat itself. I believe the Jaguars will lose this game by one score. And I do believe it will be a close game. Now, just like the Bears and Patriots, I'm feeling really good about the Jaguars for some reason. So I would not be surprised if the Jaguars pulled this one off. Moving on to our final 1 o'clock game, we got the Falcons 6-3 at the Saints 2-7. The Falcons coming off of a nice win against the Cowboys 27-21. While the Saints coming off of a embarrassing 23-22 loss to the Panthers. And we're just going to keep it plain simple. I have the Falcons winning this game. The Falcons have looked really good this season, while the Panthers have the Saints past the first 2 weeks have looked lackluster. So, give me the Falcons. This game could be very close because it's a division game, but, the Saints just traded away Marshawn Lattimore, arguably their best player, to the Commanders, so, yeah. They know they're screwed. Moving on to our one and only 405 game, we have the 2-6 Titans against the 5-3 Chargers. The Titans coming off of a nice win, well, not so nice, but 20-17 win in overtime against the Patriots. You can never complain about a win. While the Chargers coming off of an actual nice win, 27-10 over the Browns. Now, this is kind of one of those other ones where the Chargers on paper look like they're easily going to win this game. However, the Titans, I would not be surprised if they pulled this one out. I am going to go with the Chargers. However, I do believe this will be one of the better games we see this week. And I do believe the Titans will stay in it all game. I don't think it will be one of those where the score is close at the end or it's a blowout. I think it will be back and forth one team scores, the other team scores, and I do think the Chargers will prevail. But give the Titans credit if they're able to hold into it. Moving on to our 425 games, we got two of them. Starting out, the 3-6 Jets at the 5-4 Cardinals, both coming off of wins. The two teams I picked, the two games I got wrong involved these teams. The Jets beating the Texans 21-13 on Thursday night, while the Cardinals beating the Bears just 29-9. It was just a normal Sunday game. And I'm going to pick an upset here. I'm going Jets. The Jets looked really good in that game against the Texans. I feel like they're going to carry that momentum, and they're going to get a nice win over the Cardinals, who are looking like a very solid team right now. And I think this might be what the Jets need to jumpstart, the second half run. So give me the Jets, and yeah, I do believe this will. I'm very confident in the Jets. I think this will be a win no matter if it's close or blowout. I think the Jets are winning this game. Moving on to the next one, we got Eagles 6-2 at Cowboys 3-5. Eagles picking up a nice 28-23 win over the Jaguars, while the Cowboys 27-21 loss to the Falcons. And we're just going to keep this simple. Dak Prescott is going to be injured. He will not play. So with that being said, I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm not thinking twice about it. However, with that being said, I am going to pick the Eagles as my lock of the week. Now, if you don't know what lock of the week is, I explain it every episode. Every week, I'm allowed to pick one team who I think will win their game. The only catch is I can't pick the same team twice. So I have to pick and choose who I want to win. I can't just pick the Chiefs every week. I wish it was that easy. It's not. This week, we're going to go with the Eagles. We're going to start, we're in the second half now, so we're going to start picking some good teams instead of, some shaky teams who I just like. And I'm going to take the Eagles because, I'm feeling super confident that they'd win. And I'm feeling even more confident they're going to win with Dak out. So, that's why. Next, we have the Lions and Texans. Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. The Lions coming off of a nice win, 24-14 over the Packers, now 7-1. While the Texans, 6-3, 21-13 loss to the Jets. I think the Lions are going to win this game. It's the same situation with the Jets. I think there's such little world where the Lions don't win this game. I don't care if it's close. I don't care if it's a blowout. I think the Lions are going to win 9.5 times out of 10. So give me the Lions. Finally, Monday, November 11th, 8:15 p.m. We have the 2-6 Dolphins at the 4-4 Rams. The Dolphins coming off of a very sad 30-27 loss to the Bills, while the Rams, quite the opposite, coming off of a 26-20 overtime win against the Seahawks. Now, this I do believe will be one of the better games we see this week as well, even though it really shouldn't be. But I'm going with the Dolphins. The Dolphins, ever since getting Tua back, have looked way better, losing by a combined total of 4 points through 2 games. I think they're going to finally get the W this week. Give me the Dolphins. Now, for teams who are on a bye week, we do have 4 of them. The Cleveland Browns and Las Vegas Raiders of the AFC, both 2-7. And the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers of the NFC, the Seahawks 4-5 and the Packers 6-3. To quickly recap my picks, I have the Ravens, Giants, Buccaneers, Chiefs, Bills, Commanders, Vikings, Falcons, Chargers, Jets, Eagles, Lions, Dolphins, and Bears all winning their games. I accidentally forgot to write down that Bears game, so that's why I said it last. It's at the bottom of my page. I'm not rewriting the whole page just for one game. If I did say your team name, it means they're losing, unless, they're one of the 4 teams on a bye week. And I have the Eagles as my lock of the week. Now, to quickly go over the playoff picture, representing the AFC, we have the Chiefs, who are 8-0. They are the 1 seed. They would end up getting a first-round bye if it ended today. Same with the 7-1 Lions of the NFC. Now, the 2 seeds, being the Bills and Commanders, both 7-2, they would end up playing the 7 seeds, who are the Broncos, who are 5-4, and the Packers, who are 6-3. The 3 seeds being the Steelers, who are 6-2, and the Falcons, who are 6-3, would end up playing the 6 seeds, who are the 5-3 Chargers and the 6-2 Eagles. The 4 seeds being the 6-3 Texans and the 5-4 Cardinals would end up playing the 5-seeded Ravens, who are 6-3, and Vikings, who are 6-2. And there's been no clinching or elimination scenario. Although we are getting close because there are a few teams who can clinch playoff spots. Not this week. However, by, this month, they would be able to. So, we're getting close to, that point in the season where we're starting to see teams just straight up, their season's over. Yes, they can still play games, but there's really no point to it besides, where you pick in the draft. But that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I will see you guys next time with LA Rams Madden franchise. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.